Right, on that first one, remember, we always try what first? Direct what? Your problem should read this. We talked about there was a typo yesterday. Theta approaches pi, secant of pi. I plug that in. Pi is negative 1, 0. Secant is the inverse of cosine. If I flip negative 1, I still get what? Negative 1 is your answer. All right, number 23. The limit as x goes to 4. I told you to take that little negative sign off to the left. We're going to look at one-sided today. All right. Now, if I plug 4 in, direct substitution, 4 minus 4 is what? 0. That gives my denominator 0, so I got to use one of my toolkit strategies. Which one does this call for? So I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator, square root of x plus 2, square root of x plus 2. Watch my multiplication. That times that is x. That times that is 2 square root of x, or this times this is negative 2 square root of x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. These cancel out. Now watch me do this. X times this is x square root of x. X times 2 is 2x. That times that is negative 4 square root of x. This times that is negative 8. Alright, if I plug 4 in the denominator, I still get 0, so I have to use another toolkit strategy. What does that call for? Factoring. What does these two have in common? X. I take a x out. What do these two have in common? Okay. Does everybody see that? Mason, you good on that? Okay. Now, I'm going to cancel these out. Leave that a 1 in the numerator. That cannot just go to the numerator. Now I'm going to plug 4 in. What's square root of 4? 2 plus 2 is 4, so it's 1/4. Alright, number 24. That's a massive one. But what strategy does that call for? Factoring. You can factor by what? Grouping. So I'm going to come over here and factor this. I can take an x squared out. Oh, can't see it. That leaves them. Let's do this. Here I can take a 2 out. Alright, now I'm going to factor the bottom. I can take a 4x squared out. That leaves an x minus 3. Then I take a 1 out. So I'm left with 4x squared plus 1, x minus 3. Then I can cancel those out. Now apply direct substitution. 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 3 squared is 9, times 4 is 36, plus 1 is 37. So that's your answer, 11 over 37. Alright, number 25. Now on this one right here, if you plug 0 in, you're going to get 0, so you got to use toolkit strategy. I would find a common denominator. Let's make sure we know how to find a common denominator here. So I'm going to do that first. 1 over 3 plus x minus 1 over 3. What would be your common denominator? 3 times 3 plus x, correct. Very good. Now, here I multiply this by 3, so I got to multiply the numerator. Here I multiplied it by 3 plus x. I'll multiply it by 1. That's going to be 3 plus x up here. The reason I'm putting parentheses, what's this minus going to do to everything in there? Change the signs. So I got 3 minus x over 3 times 3 plus x. These cancel out. I'm left with negative x over 3 times 3 plus x. So that's what I get when I subtract those. Now the problem says divided by x. So I'm going to write divide by x. When I do that, you got to flip it. What happens to these x's? cancel, but you can't forget that negative. So negative 1, that's going to be negative 1 over 3 times 3 plus x. Now I'm going to apply 0, put 0 in there. Get negative 1/9 as your answer. Are there any questions so far? Do I need to work number 26? That's a pretty straightforward one. Like you need a factor and cancel out. And it's going to be what? 1 over what? What's the answer, 26? What now? Oh, that's right. Yep, negative 1. Does anybody need me to work number 26? Number 27. I'm going to try direct substitution. 2 times 4 is? 8 plus 1 is? Remember, we had this in math workshop, so you can... What's that bottom number tell you to do? Take the what? Square root, which is 3. 3 cubed is? That's your answer. Are there any other questions on your homework? Alright. I want you to look up, this is the bottom page 10. We're going to do this quickly together. Let's just review this. I'm sorry the graph is kind of poor. I need to make a better copy because we've been using this for years now. The copy's getting rough. So I kind of drew on here. We're just going to go through this. This is 1. This is 2. Treat this as like halfway between 1 and 2. Okay, that's halfway. All right, so here, f of negative 3. Let's just call these out quickly. What's f of negative 3? Undefined. That is an open dot at negative 3, so it's undefined. B, f of negative 2. You got negative 2 here. There's a dot at 1, so that is 1. F of 0, negative 1. It's down here. You would choose to close. F of 2, 1.5, 1.5, because the dot's halfway between 1 and 2. F of 3, what would you choose? Negative 2. I think that's negative. No, that's negative 1.52, isn't it? No. All right, now F. As x approaches negative 3. Now, is this a one-sided or two-sided? So you got to look from the left and right. Where is it approaching? 0. Very good. It's approaching 0. The y value is 0. All right. How about x approaches 0? Is this one-sided or two-sided? Two-sided. So you need to look at both sides. So what is that going to be? Does not exist because it's approaching 2 different values. X approaches 2. Does not exist. Very good. X approaches 3. It's approaching negative 1 because from the left, from the right here and left here, it's going toward negative 1. Very good. Okay, J, as x approaches negative 2 from the left. That's a crazy looking graph right there. Skip that one, K. Skip J and K. Look at L. As x approaches 0 from the left, negative 2. As x approaches 0 from the right, negative 1. Very good. All right. Oh. That's an asymptote. They drew the asymptote for you there. Okay, so go back to here. From negative 2 coming from left, it's going to what infinity? Negative. From the right, it's going to what? So overall, if it was two-sided, it would not exist. You see that? I didn't know what that line was. That's the asymptote. Sorry. All right. All right, let's turn to page 5. We're going to keep practicing this. Okay, your graph is very bad on top of that page, so you can just look up here at this graph. All right, I drew the tick marks in so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is negative 6 right here. So as x approaches negative 6 from the left, what value, class?
Good morning.
Good morning. You scared me. How you doing?
Well, you know, if you count.
Favorite class? Favorite class? As x approaches, you want to teach this lesson? It's limits.
I can probably teach better than this.
Get out of here. You be nice. You be nice. As x approaches negative 6 from the left it's approaching what value? Negative 1. From the right is what? Approaching 4. Y'all can't see that from here, can you? We're just going to skip this part because you know how to do that. Let's go on down to number 16. Now, our goal today is we're looking at just one-sided limits now. Just one-sided limits. All right, so let's talk about how we would handle piecewise for one-sided. Okay, so you have this function here, x squared plus 1, and then you have the other piece, 2x plus 1. Here, x is greater than or equal to 1. Would that be the right or left side? X is greater than 1. The right side. So let's put an R right there. X is less than 1 would be what? Left, okay. So we want the limit as x approaches 1 from the left. So which one of those pieces are you going to plug that 1 in? The bottom, do you see that? What's 2 times 1? Plus 3? 5. What type of discontinuity is this? Jump, okay. Alright, the limit as x approaches 1 from the right. Which one would you plug that in? 1 squared is? 1 plus 1 is? 2. That's your one-sided. Now they ask you for the two-sided. Are these the same value? So what would you put here? Does not exist. Five. Which piece? 5. There's nothing going on at 5, is it? What piece would you plug that into? The top is greater than 1. So 5 squared is? Plus 1 is? Very good. Now, looking at 17, let's make sure we understand what's going on in this problem. This part of the function is for every x value except what? Negative 3. This is what x of negative 3 is equal to. You see that? So I would only use that for negative 3. Alright, so let's take 3. I plug, okay, that's supposed to be negative 3. Make that a negative 3 all the way down. This is supposed to be a negative 3, negative 3, and negative 3. Okay? Now, I take negative 3 and I plug in that piece, yes.
The top piece says greater than or equals 1, so we plug in 1 there and we put somewhere else.
No, you use these two to determine if that overall.
Okay.
Yes. Now, if you were just telling me what, if you were telling me what f of 1 is, that's what you would do. But I didn't ask for f of 1. But if I asked you what is the value of f1, like she was asking here, 1, should I just plug it in there and get that? No, remember, we're doing the limit here, the values. But if I ask you what is f of 1, I want the exact value. Which piece would you plug that in? Top. Do you understand that? Okay, that's a good question. Very good, because I meant to go over that. All right. That's your certificates. Okay, now, if I take negative 3 and I plug it in there, because I always do direct substitution first, I run into a problem, don't I? So do I need to do a toolkit strategy? What should I do on this one? Factor. So let me come to the side. X plus 3, x minus 3.
Negative 3 can't be plugged in there.
That's what I'm saying. I ran into a problem because I get zeroed on it.
But why do you take x?
Why don't you just do 5?
It says x.
Okay, y'all get confused. We're doing the limit. We're doing the limit from right and left. Because I'm trying to figure out what's the limit as it approaches negative 3 from the left. So that would be the other values, not negative 3. Okay, do y'all see that? Okay, here's the limit as x approaches negative 3 from the right. So what's to the right of negative 3? Negative 4. From the right is negative 2, negative 1. To the left is negative 4. I'm not looking at negative 3. You got to remember, limit is the value it's approaching, okay? So if I plug negative 3 in, I get 0, so I have to factor. Once I do that, now, what's negative 3 minus 3? Okay, negative 6. Okay, from the right would be the same part, wouldn't it? What's negative 3 minus 3? So what's my overall limit? Negative 6. Now, let me ask you this question. If I asked you what f of negative 3 is, what would you give me? 5. Do you see the difference? Okay. Now, yes?
Can you do this from the previous problems, or does it have to look like a piecewise?
This is how you handle piecewise.
Right, but understanding left and right algebraically?
We're going to get to that in just a second. Yeah, that's on back page. All right, as x approaches 4, what would that be? 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. All right. This, remember, we're just talking about one side today. What we've been doing for homework is two-sided. So you got your strategies for two-sided. You got me? This is just one-sided, okay? Now, on number 18, which one of these pieces deal with left side? Top. The bottom is the right. Does everybody see that? It's greater than. Okay, I want to know what's happening to x as it approaches 1 from the left. First thing, I will pick this left piece right here. Plug it in. When I plug 1 into that top, do I have any trouble? No, I get what? 0. As long as 0 is not in the denominator, that's the only time you got some trouble. If you have 0 in the denominator, you got to do something, okay? I can get 0 because I didn't have a denominator here. Do you see that?
Wouldn't the negatives cancel out? -1.
I just did -1 plus 1 is 0. No, that's not a negative sign, buddy. That's telling you what direction from the left.
Oh, I don't know.
Now, 1 from the right, 1 minus 2 is, please be looking up here, -1. -1 squared is, I got a negative there, so it's -1 plus 1 is what? So what's my overall two-sided limit? Because you just did the work, 0. This is a two-sided. X approaches 3. You just plug direct substitution. Where is that 3 going to be at? It's greater than 1, isn't it? So what's 3 minus 2? 1 squared is? -1 plus 1 is? 0. Why did we have to think about these 3 so much? Because isn't that where the point of discontinuity is at? 1. Here, we just plug into whatever piece that it fits, because that's not where the discontinuity is at. You got me? All right, here. That's your right, that's your left. X approaches 0 from the left. I plug 0. E to the 0, anything raised to 0 is what? 1 plus 2 is 3. X approaches 0 from the right. 0 minus 5 is? Okay, those are my one-sided. What's my two-sided going to be? Does not exist. Now, -2 is not my point of discontinuity, is it? So you just go to the piece where it fits and plug it in. That is greater than 0. What's -2 minus 5? Oh, it's less than 0. Less than 0. So it's going to be e to the what? -2 plus 2. You can just leave it like that. You don't have to get me a decimal. That's fine. Okay. We're going to look at number 20. I don't like all this. I'm about to teach you my own way. I don't like all that. That's like rules to memorize. I'm about to teach you just how to look at this. All right. Look at number 20. We are dealing with all one-sided limits here, okay? What we've been doing is two-sided. And you know, in two-sided, the first thing you do is direct substitution. If it doesn't work, then you got rationalize, you got factoring, and you got find a common denominator. We're all good on that. Okay? This talks about what happens when you can't do any strategy. How do you handle it? And that's what we're going to do today, okay? So on number 20, it says the limit as x approaches 3 from the left. First thing you do is you do direct substitution. What's 3 plus 3? Does that work? Yes. I don't get a 0 in the denominator, do I? So just direct substitute. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. So that gives me what? 2/3. Number 21. Please look up here, everybody. I'll take 3. 3 squared is what? 9 minus what? 9 is? Do I run into a problem? Yes, so I need to go to one of my toolkit strategies. Which one is calling your name? Factoring, okay? Factoring.
negative next to it, doesn't matter.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. It's going to run into the moment when you cannot do anything. That's when you take that into account, okay? Now, if I plug 3 in now, what's 3 plus 3? 6. Is 1 6 good? Yes, that's your answer. Now tomorrow we're going to do a big just reviewing everything that we've learned this week after you take your quiz. Now this is not on your quiz tomorrow, okay? But we're just doing a big, I got a review game, okay? Number 22. I take negative 2 and I plug it in, I get what? 0. That's a no-no. Can I factor that? No. Can I rationalize that? No. Can I find a common denominator? No. This is now when that plays an important role, okay? If you can't do anything, that means it's going to an infinity or a negative infinity. And this is how you determine which it is, okay? Negative 2 to the right. What number is to the right of negative 2?
Negative 1.
Okay, plug negative 1 in. What's negative 3 over 1? Okay, now that's not your answer. This is used to help predict your answer. What is the sign of that 3, positive or negative? That means it's going negative infinity. If it was positive 3, your answer is infinity. So your answer here is negative infinity. So you're just using the sign of whatever you get. You don't have to finish working out. You just got to say, okay, is this answer going to be positive or negative? And that tells you what infinity is going to. Okay, does that make sense? All right, let's look at this one. 23. I plug 3 in. That's a positive 3. 3 minus 3 is what? 0. Okay? That's a no-no. Can I factor that? No. Can I rationalize that? No. Can I find a common denominator? What number's to the left of 3? 2. Does everybody agree? 2. I plug 2 in. What's 2 minus 3? Negative 1. What's negative 1 squared? Positive 1. What's 2 divided by 1 going to give you? Positive or negative? So it's going to be going to what infinity? Positive. Left of 3 is 2.
It gives us one where
First of all, hold on. Madison, what were you about to say?
Negative 1 is to the right. So do we plug in what's to the left?
Which one are you talking about, hon?
So that's what it is. Like if it's positive, you go to the left. And then
No, positive you go to the right. Negative you go to the left. Is everybody clear on that? Did I say something wrong a while ago?
yeah.
What did I say?
You said on this one you said go.
What's to the right of negative 2? Negative 1. 'Cause-
Because it's from the right.
Yeah, negative 2's here.
You said it.
Okay, but do y'all see that while I plug negative 1 in? Okay. Alright. Now, Nick, what's your question, buddy?
like since you can't use the toolkit strategy, it doesn't have like a negative positive.
It's going to have a negative positive thing I give you. Okay, let's look here. Okay. I'm about to draw some pictures to make sure we're all clear on this. Here, can I do any of my tool? I plug negative 3 in, I get what? 0. Can I do any of my toolkit strategies? Okay, no. So let's look here. Negative 3. What's on the right side of negative 3? Negative 2. Do we see that? Now I plug negative 2 in. I get a negative value on top, a positive. What's the negative divided by positive? So it's going to what infinity? Negative infinity. Now let's look at 25. I take negative 1, I plug it in. Did I get 0 in the denominator? So am I going to get an answer? Yes. What's negative 1 plus 1? What's negative 1 plus 1? Negative 1 plus 3 is? It's okay to have 0 in the numerator, isn't it? What's 0 divided by 2? That's your answer. We didn't have to look at that left sign on sign, did we? Okay? Is it kind of making sense of how to put, like, on your test, all these are going to be together. You just got to go through your thought process. What do I have to do for this situation? All right, now, on these, what I want to do is I want to get rid of all those left and right signs, okay? Just mark those out right now because I want to teach you how to handle situations like this. So what we're going to do is mark out that and mark out that, okay? I just want these two to be two-sided, okay? Teach you how to handle this situation. If I take -1 and I plug it in, I get 0. That's a no-no. Can I do any of my toolkit strategies here? So this is a two-sided. So do you need to check on the right and the left? Yes. So let's look at this. So you have -1 on a number line. What's to the left of -1? Now, first of all, because I couldn't do any of my toolkit strategies, it's going to deal with infinities or does not exist on these problems. That's going to be your choice for answers. Does everybody understand that? All right, so what's to the left of -1? -2. I get -3 over -1. That gives me a what sign? Positive, doesn't it? Okay. Now, go to the right. What's right of -1? 0. 0 plus, I got -3 over 0 plus 1. That gives me -3 over 1, which is negative. So this side is going to what infinity? Positive. This side is going to what? Are they going the same direction? So what would the answer be here? Does not exist, because they're going in two opposite directions. If they both were going positive infinity, it would be positive infinity. If they were going negative infinity, your answer would be negative infinity. So you see the difference how you handle the one side and then two sides, you've got to check both of them. On 27, if I plug -2 in, what's -2 squared? 4 minus 4 is? Okay, I'll run into a problem. But can I do one of my toolkit strategies here? What can I do? Factor. These cancel out. I'm left with 1 over x minus 2. Now try direct substitution. -2 minus 2 would be -1/4, and that would be my answer. Because I could do a toolkit, I'm going to get a definite answer. I'm going to mark this line and make this a two-sided as well, number 28. No, it's not. No. All right. 2, that gives me 0. I'll do my toolkit strategy. I cancel, I get 1 over x minus 2. I'm still aren't I? 2 minus 2 gives me 0. Even though I could do my toolkit strategy, the first part, I can't do anything else with that. So, am I going to have a definite answer here? No, it's either going to be does not exist or you're positive or negative infinity. Now, this is two-sided, so do I need to pick a number to the left and the right? But you realize I'm doing that because I cannot do anything else with that. Okay? So what? So if I pick to the, here's 2. To the left of it's 1, so I got 1 over 1 minus 2. That gives me 1 over -1, which will be a negative. So that is going to negative infinity on this side. To the right of 2 is 3. That's going to give me 1 over 1, which is what? Positive. They're going in two different directions. So what will be your overall limit? Does not exist. Does that make sense? I'm trying to teach you in a way where you don't have to, like, I don't want you having to memorize, like, stuff for the test. Like, that's just too much. So, I just want you to understand why we do what we do. Is everybody good? Tomorrow, we're just going to keep practicing off. None of that's on your test. There's no infinities on your test. You got two-sided tomorrow. Tomorrow, after the quiz, all I'm going to do is I'm going to have flashcards up here. I'm going to say, what would you do for this? Tell me what you do for that. And I'm going to make sure we're bringing it all together, okay? Okay, your homework is page 11, 29 to 39 odd. Remember, you have a quiz tomorrow. Your first part of your quiz will be a graph, and you got to just look at it, and the last problems will be the algebraic, okay? Are there any questions? Yes?
So when you check the left and the right side, if they don't match up, then it's still going to
Because that means one's going to one positive infinity and one's going to negative infinity, and that they go in the opposite directions. Good job, Jack. That's correct. Do I have all checkpoints? One thing, make sure your ACT next whenever it is, April 24th, you have the right calculator. You cannot use a TI-89 or a TI-92 as long as you don't have those two. And no TI Inspire. Because they have built-in computer programs that you can just type in something and give you the answer. Yes, but not like you have to know what steps to do to get those calculators. And I didn't even know Hewlett Packard made calculators. Remember, you can take two calculators in your room with you, because some of you might like your middle school scientific because it's easy to type fractions in there, but you can only have one calculator out on your desk. So if you want to take two, your graphing calculator and your scientific, you can, but you can only have one out. You have to put one under the desk and get it out, and then whatever, go back and forth. So that is an option. Oh yes, you have to. You have to tell test proctor, I believe. I think so.
So what are we doing with these?
Write 2 notes to 2 teachers. Just thanking them. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. Yeah, you can. Yes. Put that other one up for me, please. Thank you.
Also,